All right, here we go with our ninth deck out of 10 that we are going to talk about in this modern series. This is Kiki Pod, and this is a deck that was really popular a while back, and just kind of like fell off. I don't know why. I love this deck. I think it's just like a way better version of Splinter Twin, and I'm surprised to see people playing the blue-red version of Splinter Twin because I think this deck it's not only faster, I just think it's better because when you're going up against an aggro matchup, well, I guess blue-red isn't terrible against aggro. I just feel like it's way easier to interact with the blue-red version because they really only have one plan. Like, you play Splinter Twin and Deceiver Exarch and, just kind of hope they don't have Rakdos Charm. But this deck, I feel like, has a lot more methods of just kind of winning the game. Like, the interaction between Kitchen Finks and Restoration Angel is just insane. When you Birthing Pod and you sack your Kitchen Finks and gain 2 life, and then you blink it with Restoration Angel and gain 2 more life, and then you can just do that for literally all 4 of your Restoration Angels, it's just ridiculous. This is actually the original list that I haven't tweaked this at all. This is one that my brother was playing for quite a while, and he had some success with it too. Some of the hands that you open up will look a little dirtily, like it'll have some ramp dudes and wall of roots and whatnot, and it doesn't really have like any of the pieces, but a lot of the times you just kind of like open up hands and you're just kind of hoping to draw into them. Like, okay, well, a lot of the times you'll just keep it because it has a birthing pod, but you don't really know where else it's going. But then with birthing pod is such a weapon because any creature that's on the field immediately becomes a huge threat. I really like this version that adds the blue. You get Glen Elendra, which is awesome because you can pot off of her and she persists, and obviously she's good against combo with the negating whatever they cast. But it even has access to Phantasmal Image and Deceiver Exarch, which allows you to pod up the chain really quickly, because you can pod your 1-drops into a Phantasmal Image, copying a Kitchen Finks, or even a Deceiver Exarch if it's on the field, untap your pod, sack the Deceiver Exarch, get Restoration Angel, blink something, and blink your Deceiver Exarch that's on the field, and then untap your pod, and then sack your Angel, get your Kiki-jiki or Zealous Conscripts. There's a lot of really cool and fun interactions you can do with this deck, and it actually takes quite a while of just playing some matchups, because when you have one, and especially when you have multiple untapped birthing pods and you still have Deceiver Exarch and Phantasmal Image in your deck, there's a lot of things you can do. The other reason I really like this deck is because it's very good at just winning the game, which is a quality that I like to have in my decks, believe it or not. With the Kiki-jiki and Restoration Angel and also the Zealous Conscripts, there's just so many games that you can steal out of nowhere, because a lot of the times they'll just have to pass turn to you. A lot of the times when you're playing against blue-red Splinter Twin, and just hope you don't have it. And a lot of times you'll just rip Kiki-jiki off the top and be like, well, I win. And you could have been in, a terrible situation where you're obviously losing next turn. But this deck just steals games out of nowhere. And even with the quarter calling as well, doing stuff, courting at the end of their turn for one of your really relevant pieces that's going to win you the game once you untap. Now they have to counterspell that quarter calling, but they can't keep counter magic up, so you're just free to cast whatever you want. You'll see the presence of Linvala. This card was there mainly because of this deck was really popular for a while, and so Linvala was really good against the mirror, and you see the other one in the sideboard. She's legendary, so you don't want to play too many, but she does just shut down the sideboard. I'm sorry, she does just shut down the mirror really well, so that's why you see the presence of Linvala. And I think even if Deathrite Shaman keeps being as popular as he is, Linvala would be good against him as well, so I don't think it's something that you need to remove from the deck by any means. There's not a lot of things you can do to change this deck is one of the problems with it. The slots in there, you can remove the blue if you want to go towards another route, but I really don't recommend it. Or you can cut something like Wall of Omens, but I really like Wall of Omens. There's a lot of cards, even Spellskite, there's some nice little things to have access to. Even the Harmonic Sliver is just it gives you main deck artifact and enchantment hate. Which there's plenty in the format that you need to deal with. And the cool thing about the card Birthing Pod in general, this is one of my favorite cards that ever got printed. The cool thing about having 4 of Birthing Pod in your deck is when you add one creature to your deck, like when you add a Harmonic Sliver to your deck, you're essentially adding 5 of them to your deck because every single one of your Birthing Pods can dig up that sliver. The issue is, and something to be aware of when you're building and tweaking with a Birthing Pod list, is when you add one Harmonic Sliver, it's great because it adds 5, but when you add your second Harmonic Sliver, you're only adding 1 more. You're not adding 5 more. So there's diminishing returns past the first one that you add. The improvement that I would personally make to this deck if I were going to play with it at a tournament, when we were testing with Kitchen Finks, this card with Restoration Angel is just so insane that like you really don't want to risk a one of Kitchen Finks getting pathed because most of your games, if you're not winning with the kiki-jiki combo, you're winning with the Kitchen Finks and Restoration Angel combo with Birthing Pod. So I would run a couple more copies of Kitchen Finks in the main deck. I might cut like a Quarter Calling because this card's a little bit slow, and I don't know, you can kind of go from there, maybe a land if you're greedy. But Kitchen Finks was very good for us, and playing him on turn 2 against an aggro deck is just a house, so, and he'll win you the game too, like, he'll just bash for 3 every turn, and they can't block with their Bob or anything like that, so. Yeah, let's talk about sideboard a little bit. You obviously are going to have some cute little creatures in here for your Birthing Pod. Again, adding one-ofs to the deck is essentially adding 5 to the deck, so this is a good card against Tron if you're scared of it. Same with Fulminator Mage. It's also good against, like, Fulminator Mage and Avalanche Riders are both good against Jund as well. I also really like the Avalanche Riders more than Fulminator Mage because you can Restoration Angel it and bring it back into play. So that's kind of cute. The Combust you obviously have for, like, I actually remember when I was playing Rug Delver, I had Combust in my sideboard, and I actually brought it in to fight against this deck because combusting their Restoration Angel when they go for their Kiki combo it's a nice little answer to their combo. The Ancient Grudge as well to deal with like opposing Birthing Pods and obviously Affinity. And then Kasali Pride Mage is kind of like, if you remember me talking about in the other videos, talking about the split between Nature's Claim and Ancient Grudge, you kind of see the same thing here, but I'm utilizing the fact that we're playing Birthing Pod, so I'm not playing Nature's Claim, but I'm playing a card other than Ancient Grudge that also deals with enchantments. So you kind of see that same concept there in my sideboards when I do building. Aetherstorm Cannon is obviously a nice little pod target against Storm. You don't need to play too many of her, because once she's in play, obviously they just can't combo off. Same thing with Thalia. Makes it really awkward for them to be comboing off when you have a Thorn of Amethyst in play, and I really like